Hello, my name is Mark Dan from Chefs on the Move. Welcome to another version of our cookie demonstrations. We're going to be doing 3 cookie demonstrations over the next couple of weeks, brought to you by Barnum and Eastergate Community Trust in conjunction with National Lottery sponsorship. Paris and I will be bringing you 3 cookie demonstrations. So I hope you enjoy this and pick up some useful tips and some ideas. But if you want any of the recipes, just drop me an email. So let's get cooking. So a quick and easy lunchtime meal is a ham and cheese omelette. We're going to then serve it in a whole grain bath with some gem lettuce to add some nice crunchiness to it, and some of my homemade tomato chutney. Any chutney, ketchup, mayonnaise with some garlic in it actually, then the whole thing would be rather Spanish. So a little bit of oil. As you can see, the pan quite hot. I'm using the wooden spoon to protect my pan. So I'm going to leave that so it's a little bit runny to keep some moisture in there. I don't like it too well cooked. And I'm just going to turn it off and leave it rest. I'm going to pop the ham in there. So I'm going to put the cheese on first, so I want the cheese to melt down. Now again, if you want a little bit of chili or a little bit of Moroccan spice, you could add it in there. So leave that rest for a minute. And also, speaking of resting, your lunchtime is supposed to be a break from your work. So take some time in the kitchen, it's kind of time out, and you'll be more productive then when you do get back to work. So now I'm just going to release the omelette from the pan, fold it in half. Pop it onto the plate. Just leave it sit there for a second to rest. Open up the bread. Put some gem lettuce on there. Again, if you're doing this for children, you could just do a plain omelette or just a cheese omelette. Surely all children like cheese omelettes. Slice this in half. Transfer that onto there. A little bit of tomato chutney. And also you can make the omelette, leave it on the plate and let it go cold, and use it as a sandwich filling for the following day. There you go, and each of these is about 60p, so really good value, and there's lots of loveliness in there for lunch. So another really quick and easy lunchtime snack, which is like doing a pizza, but instead of faffing around a pizza base, we just have these wholemeal pita breads. Also, one thing about with your lunches when you're working from home and go schooling, do put some planning into it. Don't expect to open the fridge and lunch to be there. So it's good to sit down maybe for an hour once a week and plan your whole meals for your week. It works out more economical and you can make the best use of your foods. So quite simply, I'm going to put chopped tomato onto these pita breads. a little bit of cheddar with these, what I'm doing is the layers. I'm using the cheddar when it melts to stick everything together. Now I'm going to use a bit of chili. I'm going to kick it up a bit. And then also these couple of anchovies. Now there's two types of anchovies around. There's lots of anchovies around, but in general there's two types. There's the white vacuum pack ones, which are just delicious, the Spanish. Then there's the anchovies that you get in the jar or tin. If you're using a jar or tin, people forget this. You must wash them to take the salt off them. People say, I don't like anchovies because they're salty. Well, because somebody didn't wash the salt off them. But otherwise, these, I can just snack on these. Just lay them across. And they're quite a strong flavour, so you don't want many. And again, like me, if you opened up to tin and you've got these left, wrap them in a little plastic bag, stick a label on them, pop them in the freezer. Got a little bit of tomato left over. Some more cheddar. A little bit of salt, pepper. And that's ready to go into the oven. Stick it in the oven for about 5 minutes. So our little pita bread pizzas are ready, and we're going to take them out. They're still kept nice and soft as a base. And that is lunch. I've done two because, well, there's two of us here today. But actually this then works out about 70p as well per portion. So I hope you enjoy that. Alright, lunch is ready. So another idea for lunch is soups, on kind of soup stroke stew type thing. This is it's a smoked haddock and potato soup, and then I'm going to serve it with some soda bread. Soda bread is really easy to make. In fact, you probably get the children to make it because there's no proving involved, there's no long kneading involving as well. It is really simple. So that is 50 grams of butter, 400 grams of wholemeal flour, and the only reason I'm putting it here, put it to a breadcrumb consistency. If you want to get by the children half an hour, get them to do this. Break them through your fingers. And then we want 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda. When you're using bicarb soda, pop into the palm of your hand because there might be some little lumps in it. Just press them through. You don't have to get out the sieve, you don't have to wash the sieve. We want a little pinch of salt, a little pinch of pepper. And then here we have 400 ml of buttermilk. Buttermilk was originally, when the farms were making cream and butter, it was the kind of liquid left over from making butter. So it's not milk, but it's kind of quite watery. But it's like that with the bicarb works really well together. And so what to do is just mix that through to a dough-like consistency. Use your hand as a spade. If you've got a dough hook on your machine, you can do this as well. It really doesn't take long. Like I said, it's not like a yeast bread where you need to really work the yeast into the gluten in the bread. I used to think that soda bread came from Ireland and everybody copied us. But you probably guessed I'm Irish. But it came from North America. And I was like, oh really? So yeah, it found its way to Europe. So you can just give it a light knead. It really likes it. It doesn't need much kneading at all. That's probably enough. You just want to shape and get a smooth edge to it. Roll it around. Press it out. and then onto a tray ready for the oven. You can egg wash it, you can add a little bit of buttermilk on top if you want, but what you want to do is cut down pretty generously into it. The reason why we're cutting down generously into it is because it's a soda bread, it helps to cook it quicker. Otherwise it's a lot, it's wholemeal bread, it's heavy, that's going to help the cooking. I'm going to pop that into the oven now for about 30 minutes. So for this quick and easy soup, I've just got some diced up smoked mackerel, diced up spring onion, and some roasted potatoes left over from the weekend, so I just diced it up, and some peas. Peas are a really useful thing to have in the freezer. If you're working on a quicker snack, I mean, just take some peas out, cling wrap them into the microwave, and just pick at them. They're super healthy as well. But here I've got some vegetable stock. Like I said earlier on, it's just vegetable stock with a vegetable cube. It's a light vegetable stock, so it's not a very strong one, because the fish is going to add a lot of flavour to it as well. And I've already added seasoning to my potato when I was roasting it at the weekend. So quite literally, all goes in. Just bring that back to the boil, cook for about 2 minutes, and it really is that simple. It's what I was saying earlier on about having some things in your fridge that you can quickly throw together. And I'm going to make about 4 portions out of this, and it's going to cost about 80p per portion. That's including the soda bread. Or if the children don't like, say, the smoked halibut, just do it with potato and the peas and the vegetable stock. It's again quick and easy. So while that's just coming to the boil, the soda bread that we made earlier on, when you make soda bread and take it out of the oven, you either got to tear it and have fresh. It's really hard to cook, so you need to cut. So you need to leave it for about an hour or so, and it will cut much nicer. I can see the grain in that, so that's like 100% healthy bread. I've added no more salt from them because I'm worried about the smoked fish is just going to season it up enough. And there we go. Smoked haddock soup with potato, pea and spring onion. Again, it's light and refreshing. So another handy lunchtime snack is giant couscous salad. Couscous, people love or hate it. I think people hate it because it's something that on its own, this is actually a whole grain one, is not got a lot of flavour. You do need to add things to it. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil to start off with, just kind of mix it through and kind of separate it a little bit. I think it does need a spice, but this is actually a ras el hanout, which is a Moroccan spice, and it's got lovely aromas. Sun-dried tomatoes. Actually, you can get something like this and open up your fridge and see what bits and pieces you do have in there to add to it. I had some diced peppers, we're going to add that. And some chopped ham. You could add smoked fish. You could add the diced up roast meat that you got left over with. But what you will need is some seasoning. And when I was cooking the couscous, I actually cooked it in a strong vegetable stock base, and it just soaks up all those seasonings. And that's why it does need like lots going into it. Again, some mint and some coriander. If you got out in the garden some herbs, I mean sage, rosemary, you can almost put anything into this. Don't be afraid to be adventurous. And you've got herbs, if you've got a little space in your garden, if you've only got a square metre, get yourself a couple of herb pots, because they'll just keep going. They'll just put water in them and they'll just keep coming back to you. So that is now colourful. I've also got some sweet chili sauce, which you could add a little bit of that to it as well. But I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice just to cut through the oil and just lift all those flavours together. And again, it's an economical dish. I mean, I have 4 portions here that cost about 60p a portion. So it's your whole grain giant couscous with various fillings, whatever you'd like. So we're going to end off this session on a sweet note. A sweet note is actually good for you as well. We're going to make some energy balls. I've already put the rolled oats, the nuts and this pumpkin seeds in here. You can use a mixture of any different types of seeds that you like, or any different types of nuts. I've got some warm honey, I've got some dates, and I've got some chocolate. This is a 90% cocoa chocolate, so it's quite bitter, but with the honey it's good. But all good energy forming foods. This is something you can get the children to do, not necessarily in the machine. So, pop in the dates. And what you want to do is to get it to go around and mush it up. Honey. And what you want to form kind of nice smooth balls. And then the chocolate, which actually I just warmed this ever so slightly in the microwave. Just want to melt it a little bit, and just a little bit of chocolate, but it's shredded in slowly. That's going to help bind everything together. Dates have got lots of potassium in them. And that's that done. So what you want is just to leave it all around. So it's just slightly sticky. So what we want then is to get maybe a spoonful, about that size, into your hand. Give them a squash a little bit. And shape it into balls. You could put it onto a tray and squash it down, and then cut into squares afterwards as well. Now I'm just finishing shaping those. I'm now going to pop them into the fridge for about half an hour, just for that chocolate to set and for everything to firm up a little bit. And you can actually freeze those as well. They're quite nice because they don't freeze solid, so you can actually eat them straight from the freezer as well. And if you're for rolling them, or just get the children to roll them, keep them quiet for a while. So the energy balls have now been in the fridge for about 10-15 minutes, and they're so much harder, much firmer now. So again, like I said, you can freeze them. You can just enjoy them. I mean, these are also something that you don't mind the children snacking on them, because they are just pure goodness. So, hope you enjoyed that nice little snack. Hope you've also enjoyed this whole episode that we've been doing. And if you've got any questions or any thoughts you want to share with me, it's mark@chefsonthemove.org. I'm very happy to give out all the recipes for what we've been doing as well.